So this is the CD add-on, and yeah, right on the front over here you have the button to open the CD case, and when the system is turned on and you push the button, then you reset the system. Then over here you have also the vents for the cooling, and over here you have also a cartridge slot. Now when a video game, a cartridge game is inserted into the cartridge slot and you turn on the system will always load the cartridge game. Then there was also a memory cartridge released for the CD add-on, and with this cartridge you can save the games, the save games from the CD-ROM games. And actually I'm not 100% sure, but I guess when you save a game on a cartridge, the save game is on the cartridge and not in the system, so the system doesn't have you know, a memory unit, or let's say a memory cache for save games. So I actually think that the games will be saved on the cartridge. Okay, but now on the back here you have the port for the power supply, and yes, you have two power supplies when you play with the Atari Jaguar CD add-on, and on the bottom here you have the interface, and you have to insert this into the cartridge slot of the Atari Jaguar. Now only 15 games were officially released for the CD add-on, and yeah, it is, or it's supposed to be region free, but the funny thing, every time that I see Dragon Slayer on Atari Jaguar CD on eBay, every seller writes that this game is an NTSC title and it will only work on a NTSC console. So I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, then over here you have a see-through plastic, and there you can see if the CD is spinning or not. With the Jaguar CD add-on, you can play audio CDs, then CD plus Gs, and also the Atari Jaguar CD games. You can't play video CDs on the Atari Jaguar CD. Actually, they wanted to release some movies for the Atari Jaguar CD, but those were also not officially released, but you can find some of those also on eBay, and I'm actually not sure if those are just video CDs or interactive movies, so I never had one of those, but maybe someday in the future I have one. Now, one thing that I also wanted to mention about audio CDs is that the Atari Jaguar CD has a feature which is called Virtual Light Machine, and yeah, it's basically an audio visualizer like the 3DO has, and yeah, it's let's call it a program where you see graphics that interact with the audio. So when you put in an audio CD, then you will see some graphics, and depending on the music they will change forms and do all kinds of stuff, which is pretty nice. At the time when the system was released, or let's say when the CD add-on was released, this was actually pretty cool. Today everybody knows those kind of things from the Windows Media Player or whatever. Now, like I already mentioned, today the Atari Jaguar CD is pretty rare. Only 20,000 units were manufactured, and yeah, it is actually known to be a faulty accessory or a broken accessory, because not many of those CD add-ons are working anymore. Now, I can't really say that this is actually true or wrong. When I bought this CD add-on, I bought it on eBay a long time ago, and yeah, the seller told me that it was working 100%. And when I got it and hooked everything up and connected everything and tried to play a game, it actually didn't work. But I guess it was my fault, because one of the issues that the CD add-ons had is that the CDs won't spin, and this has something to do with the spindle. The first thing, when I opened it, I thought it looked the spindle looks the same like on the PlayStation 1. Well, not really, but I thought that when I put a CD inside, I had to push down to lock it in, like on the PlayStation 1. But actually you just have to put it in and rest it over there, and then close the Atari Jaguar CD. And I didn't do that. I pushed on the spindle, and yeah, what happened was that the spindle was too far into the CD add-on and it would not spin anymore. So I had to open the system up, and I used a flat screwdriver and placed it over here and just pulled it up a little bit. Then I turned it a little bit and did it again, and I did this over and over and over, and yeah, after a couple of tries it spinned again, and now it's working. Another thing that can happen or that can break is the laser, of course. Then also other people's had problems with connecting problems. I guess we all know the famous case of the angry video game nerd with the red screen and the Jaguar logo, which means that there is a connection problem. And actually, funny thing, I also had this problem, but not with the CD add-on. I had it with games, and not any games. I had it with new games or sealed games that were never opened. And yeah, I had this problem with Ultra Vortec and with Missile Command 3D. Now, like I said, the games were originally sealed. So yeah, every time I inserted the game, I also got the red screen. And after a couple of tries, I figured out if you have this problem, you can try this. When you inserted the game completely, turn on the system, then you get the red screen. But if you turn off the system and just pull it out about 1 millimeter, the cartridge, and then turn on the system again, the games worked and you can play them, everything is alright. But if I push them all the way in and then turn on the system, I also had the connection problem. So maybe you can use this trick on the Atari Jaguar CD unit. Maybe it works. And the last tip that I have is it could happen that the power supply from the Atari Jaguar CD add-on, also those things can break. And yeah, if this happens, or if you buy just the system and you need a power supply, you can actually use the power supply from the Sega Genesis or the Sega Mega Drive. I read this also online somewhere and I tried it out and it really works, but it's not recommended because it's not 100% the right power supply. Okay, now let us connect them together. Okay, just the look of both systems together, I actually have to say it also doesn't look that bad. But if you insert the cartridge, then yes, thanks to the angry video game nerd, everybody thinks about the toilet, and yeah, me too. But this toilet can also play video games, so actually not bad. So, and now finally we come to the games, and yeah, let's start with Cybermorph. Like always in my system reviews, I'm gonna show you now some of the games that I have for the system, but I'm not really reviewing the games. So I talk briefly about the games, give you a quick impression of the game, but please don't expect a real review of any of those games. Cybermorph is a 3D shooter slash yeah, flight simulator, not really, but kind of a flight simulator. You have in this game a couple of different views, including a cockpit view, and yeah, you fly around, and for the most part you have to collect some kind of pods and defend yourself against some attacking enemies, and sometimes you have to destroy a certain target. It's not that exciting, the game, I have to say, and the ship that you're flying around is called Cybermorph because it morphs or it changes depending on the speed that you are flying. and you can also fly forwards and backwards, and you have a couple of different weapons. And the green head that pops up every now and then is the board computer, and yeah, it kind of gives you hints and tries to help you in the game, but it can get really annoying, that thing. The graphics are, well, let's say for the time they were decent, not really impressive, but decent. And I'm gonna be honest, for a pack in-game it's okay, but I also wouldn't want to pay full price for the game, even back then. I won't say that it's actually bad, because yeah, I'm not really a fan of those kind of shooters, but let's call it average. And I have to mention that if you don't like Cybermorph, but you think the idea is okay, or you would like to play a better version of Cybermorph, then I can really recommend Battlemorph for the Jaguar CD. The game was completely improved, the graphics are much better than in Cybermorph, also the gameplay is better, and yeah, they also changed the board computer. Now it's not a green head, it's a blue head, and as far as I know, it is not annoying as in Cybermorph. So, like I said, if you like the idea of Cybermorph, but you think the game doesn't look that good or anything, then I can really recommend Battlemorph for the Jaguar CD.
Avoid the ground.
The next game is Trevor McFurry in the Crescent Galaxy, and this is a 2D side-scrolling space shooter. And yeah, this game has pretty nice graphics and a lot of extra weapons and power-ups. The game is actually not that easy, because first of all, your ship is not moving that fast, and yeah, it's actually a pretty big target, and especially because there are so much enemies and other targets that the game throws at you. So this game can get really difficult sometimes. The biggest issue that I have with this game is only that it misses the music. You don't have a music during the levels, and yeah, you feel like there's missing something. So I guess this game would be better if they would have included music in the game. And the sound effects, yeah, they are okay, but not really that great. But actually I would also say this is, yeah, a decent game.